don't think I've ever heard anything so eloquently prescribed as you cannot sugarcoat this one.
You can't.
It was bad in every facet. We didn't play well. I think, not that I would point any fingers, but sometimes, young players have a tendency to have some success and dig themselves a little bit. And I can't blame them, especially going up against the Los Angeles Dodgers. But humble pie is good for everybody. You just need a strong stomach because it don't taste good and it don't come up right. And I know they'll learn a lot from it. I'm sure Mark Kotze is going to put plenty of teeth in them today. Yeah. And they deserve it. But this is baseball, man. You go from sugar to you-know-what in a hurry. And the great part about it is we're early in the season and we look for bright moments, and sometimes something as bad as this is something that opens up your eyes the most. So let's try to get over it as quickly as possible and get ready for the San Francisco Giants.
Oh, yeah, you got to get on the plane and you got to forget about it and be ready to go tomorrow. And the reality is, when you look at the data and how good the Dodgers are at home, forget about the A's. What they're doing at home, if they continue this, the Dodgers could be very historic in their 81 home games down at Dodger Stadium.
Well, they're in a historical run. I mean, when you have two of the most exciting players in baseball, Mookie Betts has been having some health issues, and I think people have forgotten about the damage and the great player that he's been. And to pair him with Shohei Ohtani, who, between him and Aaron Judge, you can make a highlight reel that could last you 20 years and still don't see all the great things in it. So, Freddie Freeman, this is a great ball club. He just won the World Series, and a lot of times you need to stare greatness in the eyes so you can understand truly how much work you have to do if anyone's ever going to talk about you in the same breath.
You realize the A's led this game. They scored in the first inning.
Yeah, I hadn't even opened up my sandwich yet, though, man.
I'm writing it down there. Jacob Wilson scores. Shea Langoliers double down the right field line. Let's get to the Toyota turning point. Yeah, the A's had a 1-0 lead with one out in the bottom of the first. Mookie Betts would walk, and then Freddie Freeman would do this. He'd rifle one down the right field line.
Yeah, well, everything that was a mistake in the middle of the zone. They squared it up, and that's what good hitters do. You don't see a lot of good pitches where you say, well, that was a good pitch, and he just made a good swing. No, that was a bad pitch, and he made a great swing. And Max Muncy, the A's killer, so many times guys that played for you, when they get a chance to play against you, they typically do damage. And Shohei Ohtani, this dude is incredible. We saw him get pitched to very well early on in the series, and we thought guys would follow up a little bit. But man, oh man, guy after guy just adding on line drives all over the field. We got to do a better job of limiting guys at one base instead of giving them extra, because every time we did that, it seemed like they came up with another hit and drove in a run. But this was just one of those times when the water was getting out the pipe and you had nothing to stop it from running over.
We talked to Dave Stewart earlier today, A's Hall of Famer on A's Cast Live, and we talked about Dave working with the young pitchers in the minor leagues, being able to win in the strike zone. Today, Beto really didn't have anything. He could not win in the strike zone, and the Dodgers took advantage of it. When you looked at the Muncy home run, that was a changeup up. He leaves a changeup up. Good luck.
I don't know, sound redundant talking about it, but you can't live up there. We were in an era at one time where all they taught was pitch up in the strike zone because of spin rate, and guys will chase up in the zone. No, they don't chase up in the zone. When you got them ahead in the count and you can start elevating and you start changing the plane slowly but surely, and you go up and up and up, you can get away with it because you're setting guys up. But you can't be trying to throw a slider down and in and then hang it up in the middle of the zone, speeding these guys bat up and end up getting twisted on and shot up out of the yard. In the pregame, I talked so much about how important it was for Beto to pitch down in the strike zone. He has a slider that's a true weapon, and when he can get in position, when he has count leverage, and he can command the pitch and put guys away, that's when he's at his best. But, he had his fastball working back to the plate today, but it was just working back right over the middle. You could see early on that he was trying to get in on the hands a little bit to stand the guys up a little bit, but he was starting to hear too much, and by the time it got here, it was, right there. So it's too bad, man, because he's got good stuff. And unfortunately, he ran into the best team in baseball.
You mentioned strikeout rate. There's some differences from last year to this year where he really earned his spot into the rotation. You know, just kind of watching these games. Last year, he was deadly with that fastball changeup combination. Arm speed was the same. Guys weren't seeing the changeup whatsoever. And he mowed through a lot of good lineups. We're not seeing that. He doesn't seem like the same guy that he was last year.
Well, there's always a reason for the season. You can see that he still has the touch because he's able to manipulate the ball, but we didn't see many change-ups tonight. And when you can't command the fastball, it's really hard for you to trust any other pitch because everything starts with fastball command. And we've talked about that. Dave Stewart has talked about that. Any pitcher that understands anything about having success as a pitcher, in order to get him looking at something else, you got to establish a fastball. And he just wasn't able to do it. And whenever you're pitching behind the 8-ball like that, you're always looking for trouble. And he found a lot of it tonight.
Let's get to the River Rock Daily Jackpot. And it was Shohei Ohtani's night. The 50-50 bobblehead. No player in the history of baseball to ever hit 50 home runs and have 50 stolen bases. Last 2 games, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, hitting .444, an OPS of 189. On pace, well, going into today, he was on pace for 173 runs scored. We always are going to talk about who's the greatest player to have ever played and generations and everything. I just don't know if we've ever seen a player, because of what he was able to do on the mound. We'll see what, coming back from another Tommy John, what that will mean. But his skill set as an all-around player, offense, the ability to run, the size, to get on the mound and have ace-like stuff, I don't know if we've ever seen this skill set before.
No, he's a freak of nature. I mean, as you see, it's pretty difficult to prepare and be really good in one position. And he did it for a short period of time. And there were a lot of people, including myself, to wonder if he could sustain that on both sides of the ball. And I don't know if it was happenstance or just the way that it happens when you're putting that much strain and stress on your body, that it happened to him, that he hurt his arm. But, you know, one thing about the Japanese culture and their hitters, they're so unique. I enjoy watching Ichiro when he came here because they do such a great job of leaking a little bit, but they keep their hands in a position to where they have an idea of what they're trying to do. You can pitch them a certain way and they'll hit you that way. If you miss too much, they'll yank you this way. They said Ichiro could hit 30 home runs a year if he wanted to, but this dude, you see, got 3,000 hits being over here, and it was because the man was just a magician up there.
There were scouts who went over to Japan, loved Ohtani as a pitcher, but they said as a position player, not sure if he'd be able to play at this level.
Yeah, well,
if you can believe that, there were scouts. Your brethren went over there, watched him play, and they said, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hit at the big league level.
Yeah, well, you know, be careful what you're talking about your scouts. I can see where you can go over there. It's a different league. They throw a lot of breaking balls. It's different. But I can't recall any scout that I talked to that went over there, and it was nothing but rave for the guy. They said he was going to be the truth. Same thing you're saying. They've never seen anything like this before. Yeah. And I kind of trust the guys that I work with, my brotherhood, especially when you're evaluating a talent like that. Those guys that said that, they probably don't have jobs right now.
All right, let's get to the Highlight Zone, brought to you by Mancini's Sleep World. And Max Schuman, we always say we want to see Schu get a little more playing time. He'd leave the yard in this game. Max Schuman, a home run in the second inning.
The executive. All he does is come to work, and when they tell him to do the job, he opens up the briefcase, no matter where it is, second base, shortstop, come in and have a quality at bat. Well, we just going to get on Max Schuman and pop him up right here. No, I'm going to ambush you. I'm trying to stay in the lineup. Every time I get an opportunity, it's quite obvious if you look at the notes, I'm getting off every chance. So I love that from Max Schuman because he's a hard-nosed player, and he's meant so much to this club over the past couple of years.
And you love how he made some good plays tonight at second base. You can really put him anywhere on the diamond, and he's going to be productive for you.
That's why I call him the executive, man. He comes here every day and gives you 8 hours, full day of work. Don't take any time off, and whatever you ask him to do, he's going to give it to you. So you and I have talked about it. We'd like to see him a little more. but his value is just what it's been. When we need him, there's a position that needs to be filled, and you cannot find a guy that you can say, okay, my shortstop got hurt. We can put this guy in there for an extended period of time and not have to worry about it. Most of the time, they're stopgap guys. They play 2 or 3 games, and you figure out real quickly why they don't play shortstop on a regular basis, because they just don't fit there every day. So we're going to look for some bright spots today. He's definitely one of them.
Tough one for the Athletics. They lose 19-2. Here's Mark Kotze after the game.
We've had losses like this year, and we've bounced back. So this is a night where you turn the page. Obviously, from the get-go, the starting pitching really sets the tone. And unfortunately, Beto didn't have his best stuff tonight. He lacked command, and he just made mistakes in the middle.
What's it like facing a guy like Ohtani?
It's not easy. It's not facing Ohtani, Betts, Freeman. It's a good lineup, and when you make mistakes, these type of hitters can make you pay. And I think we saw that tonight. The first night we handled the top of the order really well, and the last 2 nights we just haven't been able to do that. So.
And what do you think that moment meant for Pareda at the end? Strike him out.
I know it's something that he'll remember the rest of his career for sure. But obviously, I thought Mitch Spence threw the ball well at one bright spot. He's been kind of back and forth with his success, and I thought tonight when he came in, he did a nice job for 3 innings of handling the lineup and executing pitches.
How important was it for Alexander and Spence to eat up the innings they did tonight?
Yeah, no, we're going into, like you said, another good series against the Giants, and we could have easily gone through a lot of arms tonight. So I commend Alexander for going out there and staying out there, giving us every pitch he had, and then obviously the job Spence did and keeping his pitch count down. Most likely he'll be available the weekend.
A couple of lopsided games in the series. How do you size up these 3 games here?
Well, we've had lopsided losses all season, so it's part of kind of figuring it out right now, figuring our club out. This Dodger team is one of the best teams in the division. Obviously, they're a former world championship team, so not much has changed on that side.